I know that I join the Majority Leader in expressing our gratitude to the Capitol Police.
Lawmakers in the House praising the police following yesterday's deadly chase and shooting. They gave the officers a standing ovation. Was that the right thing to do? And it all comes on what is now day 4 of the shutdown showdown. Joining me now is Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman-Schultz, the chairwoman of the Democratic National Committee, and Tennessee Republican Congresswoman Marsha Blackburn. Welcome to you both on this busy Friday night. Debbie, let me start with you there. I mean, obviously, again, with the benefit of hindsight, it's slightly great to see a standing ovation being given to police officers who have, as we now know, shot dead an unarmed woman suffering perhaps from postpartum depression. What do you think of this story? Obviously, it's very complicated, and you don't want to be too critical of the police, but what do you think?
Well, first of all, those Capitol Police officers deserved our thanks and our appreciation and every bit of the standing ovation we gave them, because they lay their lives on the line for us every single day. And we work in a building that is one of the most high-value targets in the entire world. And as we've seen, there is really a constant threat virtually all the time. We've had Capitol Police officers shot to death in the United States Capitol itself. 2 weeks ago, we had a mass murder on the Navy Yard just 2 miles from the Capitol. So, to second guess the actions of those Capitol Police officers would be totally wrong and inappropriate. And look, I mean, those officers knew that the woman rammed a barricade at the White House. She not only, after they surrounded her car with weapons drawn, backed up and fled some more, hurt 2 officers with her vehicle. And, anywhere in the world we've seen vehicles used as weapons, particularly in the last number of years. So I think the last thing we should do is second guess their actions. Okay,
now I want to turn to you, Marsha, for this. I quite like this. There's a website called CongressStillGettingPaid.com. Which actually has an update, which is a constant ticker. There we are. This is how much Congress has been paid since the start of the shutdown: $985,610, 11, 12, and so it goes on, dollars. A huge amount of money at a time when 800,000 people have been furloughed, and many millions more are suffering from this. And we'll hear from some of them later. Where does this end, all this? At the moment, the general view seems to be, look, the Republicans, you've had your fun, but now get real. Let's get this shutdown over. Let's get on with sorting the debt ceiling. Let's get serious and be grown-up politicians.
Well, I tell you, that's exactly what we are trying to do and have been trying to do. Republicans pass a budget in the House. We have worked toward a continuing resolution to address this issue. By the way, we're doing that because of not completing the budget process. It takes both chambers and the administration to do that. And what we are doing is basically going through the appropriations process, which is building the budget out and getting the budget open bit by bit.
Not, Marsha. Come on,
yes,
listen.
we are.
It's me you're talking to.
Absolutely, we are.
You're not talking to somebody.
That is exactly what we're doing.
No, you're not.
It is the responsibility of the House.
I have no trust.
It's the responsibility of the House.
Let me finish.
To get the budget.
Let me jump in.
To get the budget put together.
Let me jump in. I can't vote either way, so I have a very nice take on this, which is this is a ridiculous situation. Obamacare, which is what this is all about, is a law. It's had the mandate of the Supreme Court. It's had a mandate of an election, for goodness sake. And to use that to shut down the government is just utterly outrageous.
The issue
and
is
everybody knows it.
The issue is overspending. And the House, passed... No. Now, Debbie, listen, the House passed a continuing resolution that would fund all of the government except that one portion of Obamacare. Then that was rejected. We came back and we said, well, let's just delay it. The president has delayed 19 provisions of the law, gave 1,600 waivers,
let me
and
bring
even
in,
this
let me bring Debbie in here. Debbie
has taken the website down for repairs.
Okay, now, Debbie, you're in the blissful position of having me completely agree with everything you're probably about to say, and that's purely because I have listened to senior Republicans like John McCain saying how completely crackers this is. I also remember very vividly Speaker Boehner himself after the last election defeat by the Republicans, saying Obamacare is law and we just have to swallow it. We lost the election. Now suddenly, apparently that isn't his position, and that to me is selfish, childish politics. Debbie, over to you.
Here's the bottom line, and this is very simple. What we have to do tomorrow morning is go on the House floor, have the Republicans put the clean, continuing spending resolution on the floor to reopen the government completely. Instead, what they're doing is they're holding our economy hostage and using Obamacare as the ransom. That's basically what they did, and whether it's defunding or repealing or delaying, there's no way around that. They are simply trying to extract and extort what they couldn't get when the bill was on the floor, when it passed into law, when the president signed it, when the Supreme Court upheld it, and when we had an election over it and President Obama was reelected. And what they're doing is they're pitting with these bills that are piecemeal. They're pitting veterans against kids in Head Start. Excuse me, Marsha, I didn't interrupt you. They're pitting veterans against kids in Head Start, against child cancer patients. Let's just open the entire government and stop this irrational nonsense. It's irresponsible.
The appropriations process is not irrational nonsense.
I'm on appropriations, Marsha.
I know
the appropriations process. I'm a ranking member of the subcommittee.
And what we need to do is make certain that we do our best and get this government back open, and that we do it in a fiscally responsible manner.
And
$17 trillion worth of debt, borrowing $2 billion a day, borrowing $2 billion a day is not a fiscally responsible ability.
Listen, I've got to bring this to a halt, but let me just say, Marsha, for you to look at me with a straight face and use the phrase fiscal responsibility, I mean, come off it. What could be more fiscally irresponsible than shutting down the United States?
$10 billion a week. That's how fiscally responsible they are.
$2 billion a day is not fiscally responsible, and that's what we have been doing.
Nor is shutting down the government, Marsha.
The fact that we have had
law.
The fact that we have had...
Democrats have already agreed to the Republicans' number, which we oppose.
Get back in there tomorrow.
It's the law.
Get back in there tomorrow.
It was signed into
What
law.
is the law?
The Affordable Care Act is the law.
It's the law.
Let's abide by it.
We have to get our house, our fiscal house in order in this country. $17 trillion worth of debt, borrowing $2 billion a day.
And stop wasting $10 billion a week.
Obamacare that was to be $863 billion and now is $2.6 trillion. With all these delays, that is not that's the CBO's number.
I have to sadly bring this to a halt.
$181 a month in premiums for health insurance.
I have to bring this to a halt.
Premiums are skyrocketing.
Ladies, I have to bring this to a halt. Thank you for the debate. I think I've made my feelings pretty clear. I think most people agree with it. So we should just get it back running. It's silly. Coming next, more on the shutdown and who it's hurting most. Real people feeling the pinch and money for nothing. Look how much members of Congress are making since the shutdown. In fact, even in the last few minutes, it's been racing ahead. We'll be back after the break.